crafty friends, Katrina the Crafty Cataloger here. I feel like I start all my videos lately with an apology for being gone so long. I did truly intend to come back at the end of February, which would have been the schedule that I would like to keep. But as we all know, sometimes life has different plans for us. On Groundhog's Day, February 2nd, my mom fell walking out of church and broke her ankle. So that meant in the month of February, I spent a lot of time driving down to see her and help her. And then March happened, and I thought maybe I could kind of get back in the swing of things. But March is a busy month in the life of a band director, which is what my husband does for a living. And he had band festival, and we had 4 kids qualified to go to state solo ensemble festival, and it just felt like we had a lot of stuff going on. And then I had scheduled to have surgery on March 26th. So I don't think it's visible right now. So if you don't like looking at scars, I'm gonna show it real quick just so everybody knows what's going on. Otherwise, hopefully it will mostly be out of frame, but this is your warning. If you don't wanna see, look away for a couple seconds. I had a total thyroidectomy done, so beautiful scar on my neck. It looks worse than it is, I think, because I'm only 8 days past surgery. I had it a week ago yesterday. Today's Thursday, right? I have kind of lost track of days. And so the glue is still there, and I think that makes it look worse than it really is. I think my voice sounds a little funny, but I don't think my voice was affected. I think it's just that my throat hurts, and I'm kind of surprised that my throat still hurts. That was something that kind of took me by surprise anyway. I didn't think about the fact that they would probably shove a breathing tube down my throat, and that actually has probably hurt more than anything else. Anyway, I'm gonna try to make this quick, because I feel like if I don't do it, then I'm probably never gonna do it, and it's crazy. So we're gonna start off with cross stitch. I don't really feel like I have a whole lot to show, although when I did go back and look, I have more than I thought I would. So anyway, it is what it is. We'll start off with cross stitch, and we'll try to get through this pretty quickly. I'm also not The piece that was on my rotation for January and February was Mini Village Bookstore. This is a Heaven and Earth Designs pattern, artwork by Randall Spangler. I don't know if I've worked on it since I saw you last, but I'll show it anyway. Just in case I had. I would have to really look at my spreadsheet to know for sure if I had. I would love to work on this some more, but other things keep getting in the way. So I should have moved on to a different piece for March and April, which I kind of still want to do, but I also kind of would like to get more stitches into that. My plan was to work on each full coverage for 2 months at a time and then rotate. But also a sub goal of that was to put in like 1,500 stitches minimum in that 2 months time, and I haven't reached that point on that one. So I kind of would like to at least get it to 3,000 stitches before I move on, but then I feel like I'm always going to be behind, so maybe that's just not going to happen. I did have a finish. I'll try to put a picture of where it was last time I showed this. This is I call it wow number 1. It it's something to do with the World of Warcraft video game. My husband and son both play. And I got all excited because I thought this was done. And then I was looking at a picture of it and remembered that Pattern Keeper does not show you back stitching. So the stitching is done. And I'm pleased with how it looks. And my husband was all excited. And he's like, oh yeah, we got to find a frame. And then a couple days later, I was like, oh, that's not really done. And I showed him the picture of the one with the back stitching, and he says he thinks it looks fine like this. So I really don't know if I'm going to go back and back stitch it or not. It has a lot of back stitching in it, and I don't know if I want to do it, but I feel like I should. Other things I've worked on in the last couple of months. So then when I finished that one, I started the second one. Here's a picture of what it should look like when it's completed. And here is what it looks like right now. I actually did get a decent start on this one. I actually think this one is a prettier pattern than the other one, but anyway. And because I know that I'm really bad about all of this, I never remember to say what kind of fabric or what kind of threads I'm using. There is a Google Doc linked below that should have most, if not all of that information on it if you really are dying to know. Both of those World of Warcraft patterns were patterns that were purchased from Etsy. I also worked on Winter Wienerland, which is a Plum Street Samplers. I don't know why I just zipped that back up. I unzipped it so I wouldn't have to do that. I don't seem to have. I'll try to put a picture of what it will look like, what it is supposed to look like when it's finished right here. For those of you who have been with me for a while, you know that I'm doing several of these for my sister-in-law who does have a dachshund named Penny. And I am at the point where I have determined all of them that I'm going to do. And I think this one and another one I'm going to show you, and then maybe one more, and then I'm not doing anymore. I wanted to give her enough that she had like something to change out every season of the year. So that's why Winter Wienerland got chosen, because she needed something for winter. This actually is, I don't know, it's probably pretty close to being finished. And if I could get the next one I'm going to show you finished, I would go ahead and go back to this one and try to finish it. Actually, in a dream world, I would get this one and the other one finished and give them to her at Easter when I'm going to see her. But I don't know if that's possible or not. We'll have to see how things go. These are kind of fun to work on, but they are also deceptive. They look like they're pretty easy and that they don't have a lot of stitches, but they actually do. For April, for March, the two numbers that were called for March on my Whipco board were for Starbarks, which is another one in that series. And this is what Starbarks will look like when it's finished. Just thought this was funny. And my sister-in-law and brother-in-law do enjoy going to Starbucks once in a while. So I started this one. I started this one Tuesday. This week? I don't remember. I just started it not too long ago. After my surgery, I started it. And I'm sorry, it's still in the hoop, but you can see most of what I have done. I have the cup completely finished. I have star B and part of the next A, and then I have part of the dog on this side. I'm hoping to basically finish this side today, and then maybe the other side Friday and Saturday. And then, like I said, I'd like to go back to that other one. The other thing I worked on quite a bit, and I just finished the other day, was this piece. It's called Silly Bird's Birth Record. It's by Imaginating, designed by Ursula Michael. And sorry to tease you, but I am not going to show it. I basically have everything finished. I have this whole section done, this whole section done. I have Welcome to Our Nest. The only thing that is missing is the name and the date, because baby Jay will not be born until June. And the baby shower is next week, the 12th, I think. And I am going to gift it to them at the baby shower, but then I'm going to basically say, I'm giving you this, but I have to take it back, so that I can put the name and date on it after baby Jay is born. And I happen to know that both my niece and her husband follow me on Instagram. So I don't know that they would watch this video, but since that's where I usually announce that I've put a video up, I don't want to take that risk. So I don't want them to, because I don't want them to see it. The last couple pictures I posted, I was pretty careful to just like post a little bit, like a teaser, because I don't want them to see the whole thing until I gift it to them. Cross stitch. Let's see, what else is there to share in the world of cross stitch? Not much. I am, like I said, working on Starbarks, and I would like to get back to Mini Village Bookstore. I also, the other one that was called for Whip Go for this month is can't remember, Spring Quaker. It's a small one, I know, although again I think it's probably has more stitches in it than what I think, and I would like to try to do that. The whole point, the goal on that one was to start and finish, and hopefully I can do that this month. But then my husband and I got some exciting news a month or so ago, and it turns out that we are going to be grandparents. So that's exciting, and I need to start planning something to make for our grandbaby. I actually have a quilt panel that I purchased a couple of weeks ago that I want to make a quilt for the baby, but I would like to cross stitch the baby something as well. But I also have this. And I don't have the book right handy. I can look it up if you're just dying to know where this came from. Why is this so blurry? I hope that whole last section wasn't blurry. If you are dying to know what this is and where it came from, I can look it up for you, because I do have the book. It's just on the other side of the room. The story behind this piece, it's called Bears and Blocks. This is, I only have 2 UFOs, and this is one of them. This piece was probably started in the summer, late spring, summer of 1999. This piece was started with the intention of hanging it in the nursery for my oldest child. And this is where I got to, before said child had the audacity to be born 2 weeks early. And I never finished it. So, I kind of want to finish this. I don't really want to say as a gag gift, but I've kind of always said I'll pull that out and finish it when that child has a child, and I'll give it to him then. well, the time has come. So I would like to figure out how to get that into my rotation of things to get done. I want to share a couple of things I've purchased in regards to cross stitch. Just because. I think I've mentioned a couple times that I've gone to a stitching meetup over in the Saginaw area. They would meet at the Panera Bread over there, and it's a lot of fun, and I hope I'll be able to do it again. One of the things I noticed was that I had a hard time figuring out how to get my tablet to stand up on its own so I could use it. And because here at home I have a stand that attaches to my table and has a long arm. And so anyway, I was wandering through Menards one day, not long after I had been over there, and I found this. It's about the size of a deck of cards maybe. So it folds flat, and when you pull it out, you can adjust it this way, and you can adjust it this way. I think I paid $6 for it, and it's perfect because it's small, so it fits right in my bag with my stuff, and it does the job. So I wanted to share that. If you're in need of something like that, you have a Menards near you, watch, maybe you'll find something. The other thing that I wanted to mention, Leanne from Small Town Stitches had mentioned that she had gotten some hanging floss holders from an Etsy store that was actually right here in Michigan. And I have had my floss hanging on something very similar to this that I had created myself for several years now. And decided that I would treat myself to this upgrade. So this is the hanger. It's plastic. So I have them in, I have 2 of these file boxes from Staples, and they're in there. I do have everything switched over. That took me a little bit. And it's nice because the color numbers were on there with the colors. Most of the colors are pretty accurate. And so that was my little treat to myself. And aside from going to Joann's, which was probably a waste of my time, and I purchased a bunch of floss, I really haven't purchased anything cross stitch related. I do have some new Nerd hoops coming tomorrow just because I have decided that I do prefer them quite a bit over the Q-snaps, and I need to figure out what to do with all the Q-snaps that I have collected. But I purchased a few more Nerd hoops to just kind of have more of a collection, because I need a couple right now, and unless I take something off of a hoop, I don't have one to use. So I bought some, and they're coming tomorrow. I want to go back to this for a second. This piece. I would like some advice, if anyone has any. I would like to put this in Pattern Keeper. And I have put patterns in Pattern Keeper before with mixed success. I scanned this the other day, and I felt like I was fighting with it, and I finally gave up, and I didn't end up finishing it. And actually, then the program told me that it didn't have enough memory. I did look at their Facebook page and their YouTube page in hopes that there was maybe a video or a post that had like best tips and tricks, but I wasn't finding anything. So if there's one out there and somebody knows right where it is and can point me to it, I would appreciate it. Or if you have used it enough and put patterns in it enough that you can offer me some tips and tricks, I would love to hear them. I have a scanner here, a flatbed scanner. I have a multi, printer, scans, it prints. It probably faxes if you had it hooked up, but I don't have it hooked up. So I have the ability to scan it, and I did. I scanned it at 600 DPI. Is there a better setting? Like, should I, like, I tried 1200 and that was going to take 7 minutes for one page. So I thought, okay, that's a bit much. What settings should I be choosing on my printer? Like, this is a color pattern. So are there settings that work better than others? What DPI should I be using? Like, what can I do to make this actually go into Pattern Keeper? Because I would really like, I have literally a working copy and my originals. I would like, my working copy is marked off what is supposedly done. I would really like to put it in Pattern Keeper and mark off what's finished, because I do better with patterns that are in Pattern Keeper. So if anybody has any hints or tips and tricks to help me get this into Pattern Keeper so that I can, I think I'll have a better chance of finishing this and finishing it in a timely manner if I can get it into Pattern Keeper. Anyway, I think that's cross stitch. Let's move on to knitting. So I haven't really done a whole lot of knitting, but with all these babies coming, I thought maybe I should pull this out. This blanket, I don't remember what the name of it was. It is a feather and fan pattern, so it's a 6-row repeat. It's pretty easy. I had started this quite a long time ago with the intent of just having it in case somebody ever had a baby and I needed a gift. And so now I'm like, well, I should pull it out and I should finish it up for somebody. And I think I still have about 10 more inches to go. I've been trying to do a couple of rows an evening, but it is quite wide. I mean, you can see how bunched up it is. Oops, I'm caught on my needles. So it takes me almost a half an hour on most rows to get it done. I do love this fabric, this yarn. I think it's just super pretty. So that's pretty much all I've been working on in the area of knitting. I do have a shawl that I started, and I believe I showed you last time, and I don't think that I've touched it. It's also in the basement, in the living room down there, and I don't feel like going to get it, so I'll show it to you next time. Next up, let's talk about sewing and quilting. Last time we spoke, I think I told you that I wanted to make myself a portable ironing board. I did get that done. This is what it turned out looking like. You'll see that I have feet on the bottom. And then I thought this fabric was really cute. It came from Fat Quarter Shop. And the point of this is that those feet sit right in the top of my 3-tier rolling cart. And so then I can move it around my room, and I can use it to iron without having to get out my big full-size ironing board when I'm just working on, you know, quilting projects or sewing projects. Like yesterday, I did work on a little sewing project. I made myself 2 of these. Stand up. It's, the lady online called it a kitchen towel, scarf, or boa. Just kind of a funny name, but I get what she was getting at. The point is that you put it around your neck like this, and you have 2, the both ends are kitchen towels. It's like 1 kitchen towel that you cut in half and then sew onto here. I made myself 2 of these. When I saw this, I thought, well, that's something that I need, because I am famous for flicking my towel over my shoulder while I'm cleaning up after dinner, and inevitably my towel ends up in the dish water. So I had purchased some inexpensive towels at Walmart, and I found this fabric when I was at Joann's, and I thought it was cute, so I bought some and I made that. They were pretty simple to make. I could see myself maybe making some more for like Christmas or winter, or maybe even as gifts. The other thing I did was I finally got something made so that I could replace the autumnal wall hanging I had hanging in our like going down to the basement stairs. I will insert a picture of it here because I don't want to take it down. It is like the autumnal one, not actually finished. It's just pieced and it's hanging up unfinished. Did take the autumnal one over to the long armor, and when she gets it back to me, I'll finish it off, and then come this fall, it should be able to hang on the wall completely finished. So I just whipped this one up so that I'd have something to put there, because I was, much as I love that autumnal one, I was getting really tired of looking at it. So when I was at the store to try to find a panel, I found another one, another panel. I found this panel as well, and I thought it was pretty and could be spring or summer. So at some point I'm going to try to whip this one up. I think I'm going to try to use this pattern for this one, but it is that is a pattern that I bought also while I was there. So I think that's the one I'm going to try to do with this panel. And I have a couple of different fabrics picked out to go with that. I want to try to find a green and maybe an orange to go in there. I also found this panel and would like to whip this up as a simple quilt for my future grandbaby. I just thought the giraffes were cute. It has different giraffes. He's doing different things. What's he doing down this side? Oh, there's this. It's so big I can't hold it. So anyway, I just thought this was cute, and I'm gonna try to just find something pretty simple to do with it, but I thought it would be fun to make something for the baby. And then, like I said, I need to find a cross stitch that I can make for the baby. I just don't know if I can get a quilt, this other cross stitch finished, and another one done before October. That might be asking a lot. The other thing that I want to do in terms of sewing is I want to make this. I have seen these online, these sewing machine mats online quite a bit. They look handy, but I honestly think that having this hang down in front of my sewing machine would kind of annoy me. And so when I was looking online to see if I could find a pattern for it, I noticed that this pattern had this on it, which is an ironing board caddy. So I am going to make this, but I am going to put it under my sewing machine this way with this piece hanging off the right hand side of my table, because really all I need are these little pockets. I need some place to put my snips and my seam ripper when I'm sewing. Otherwise they roll off the table or they're in my way. So I have stuff picked out for that. My mom is going to be up here camping the end of April, and I've already asked her for help with that because I've never actually sewn with a pattern before, and so I'm hoping that she can give me some expertise in that area. I think that's all for sewing. Let's what else is there to talk about? Paper crafting. Done nothing. I threw together one card for my brother-in-law's birthday. It was lame and it was late, and I felt really bad. I have not touched my paper crafting whip go board. I really would like to. In fact, I was kind of hoping that this afternoon would be the day, and it's not going to be. Maybe tomorrow afternoon I can work on getting that caught up, because really I just need to get it caught up. And books. I have been reading a decent amount, and I will I will put up a graphic of showing all the covers of the books that I've read so far this year. I don't remember what I would have talked about in my last video, so I'm just going to go through them all real quick. Back to the Prairie, wasn't really impressed. Sometimes when you read a memoir, you end up learning more about a person than you wish you knew, because maybe you didn't need to know that much about them. And that's kind of how I felt about that one. The Lost Baker of Vienna was very good. Beyond Ivy Walls was very good. Forged in Love was good. My Name is Ona Judge was a split time. I really enjoyed the historical one. The modern day storyline annoyed me, and I can't even really tell you why. I think partly because the main character in the modern day timeline talked like she lived in the inner city all the time. And I understand that that's a thing, but yet this person didn't really live in the inner city. And it just felt like too much. It also had a few scenes that were a little steamier than I care to read, but you know, to each his own. The Frozen River was very, very good. I listened to that on audio. If you like historical fiction, that was an excellent book. I have read 2 books in the Emma M. Lyon, actually that's not the actual title, The Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon. I've read 2 volumes of that. They're short. They're probably actually considered novellas. I think there's 6 or 7. I don't know what it is about them, but they're cute. They're good. Lost in Darkness was good. Happy to Help was nonfiction. I listened to, it was one of those books where when you got to the end you realized that it didn't help you understand how to fix being a people pleaser, but at least you understood that you weren't alone. The Secret Book of Flora Lee was good. Some Like It Scott was very cute. What Mama Left Behind was good. To Spark a Match by Jen Toronto was cute. Her books are always kind of tongue-in-cheek. They're fun, historical fiction, but you have to take them with a grain of salt, and she writes them that way intentionally. Destiny of the Republic, A Tale of Madness, Medicine, and the Murder of a President was actually very good. It was about James A. Garfield, who is a president I did not know much about. And I read this like a month before I knew I was having surgery. And the whole time I read it, I was thinking to myself, wow, I'm really glad that I live in a day and age where we have some more medical knowledge than what you all had back then. Because the whole crux of the story was that James A. Garfield did not need to die from that assassination attempt. What actually ended up killing him was the infection from the doctors doing things that nowadays would never fly. I listened to the first book in the Emily series by L.M. Montgomery, Emily of New Moon. This was a reread for me. I would have read this series when I was either in high school or early college, and I must have enjoyed it a lot more when I was younger, because it took me about half of the book before I even liked Emily, and even then I was like, I will finish rereading the series, but she will never measure up to Anne, and that's just all there is to it. Gabrielle Meyer, who I've talked about before, she has written the Timeless series. She had a new book come out called The Fur Trader's Lady. It was excellent. And excuse me. Yesterday I finished The Queen of Sugar Hill by Rashonda Tate, and that one was historical fiction based on the life of Hattie McDaniel, who was the actress who played Mammy in Gone with the Wind. And it was different. It was one of those books where the first part made me just angry because, you know, she was African American, and because of that, there were a lot of things in her life that shouldn't have been the way they were. And we've come a long way in this country, but we still have a long ways to go. But towards the end, I was almost mad at her because she died like basically destitute, and it's like it was her own fault. And so frustration over the fact that yes, life dealt you some pretty bad hands, but also you had some successes, and you should not have ended up this way if you had maybe taken a little more responsibility for life. But whatever. It was an interesting read. It was actually a book that my mom told me I should read a long time ago, and I was like, I don't really care. I mean, I've seen Gone with the Wind, but I didn't care about this actress. But then this last month, there was a free book on Libby, meaning that I could borrow the audiobook from Libby, and it wouldn't count against my borrows that the library keeps track of. So I thought, well, I'll go ahead and listen to it. I feel like there's probably more I could share, but who knows? Maybe not. My voice is starting to sound scratchy, and I'm feeling like I need to cough. I do have to go back to work on Sunday. It all kind of worked out well because I have to work Sunday, so I have Monday off for Sunday. Then I have to work Tuesday, and I have to work Wednesday. Then I get a day off for my birthday. There's a very large bird outside my window. I get a paid day off for my birthday every year. That's part of our contract, and we just have to take it in the week, in the pay period in which our birthday falls. So I have Thursday off for that. Then I believe the next week is the week of Good Friday. So Good Friday is a paid holiday, but I normally don't work Fridays, so I have to move my flex day. So I think I took Monday off as my flex day. Then I have to work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then the following week I may have to actually work a full week. So it's just nice that it worked out that I got these little extra days in there so that I don't have to just go straight back into working 40 hours a week. Is safe and happy and stitching and doing all the crafty things. I'd say enjoying the weather, but it's been just bizarre. I saw a meme on Facebook the other day that said something about, so let me get this straight. We're going to do winter on Monday and Tuesday, summer on Wednesday, fall on Thursday, and winter again on Friday. And that's basically what it's been like. Yesterday we woke up with snow on the ground and freezing rain. And by afternoon it was springtime again. It was raining, thundering, and it had warmed up. So anyway, there's my update. Not great, but a little something, and I hope that I will be able to come back sooner than 3 months. I hope all is well. Happy crafting.